You know what else dropped? You know what else dropped?
No.
Yes, you do.
Bongos.
Cardi B and Meg the Stallion.
Yep.
New single.
Yep. Cardi single, it looks like.
Yeah. How'd you feel about it?
Oh, me first.
Yep, you first. You first. I'll jump in at some point. I want to hear what you thought. You seemed... Because I know you were thrilled to hear that Cardi and Meg were back together again. I know that you were super excited and waiting for midnight to come. So you could hear on Friday. So you could hear Bongos.
I didn't... Okay, first of all...
You didn't even know they were going to drop visuals. I'm sure you were just ecstatic and shaking in your boots about the visuals.
I don't know if people shaking their boots when they're ecstatic, but okay. So I did not know this song existed. I did not know visuals existed. I found out about it from Instagram. Someone I follow is involved in the video, and that's how I found out. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm just like, oh, look, this person posted, oh, they're part of this video. Oh, is this new? I don't know. I thought it was some unreleased WAP footage or something. I didn't know. Because, you know, on Instagram, it plays silent unless you hit sound. And then when I hit sound, I was like, what the hell is this? This is not WAP.
It's not WAP.
And let's start there. I never thought I would say this.
I'm curious to see where this is going.
But if we're comparing the songs,
one is better than the other.
WAP is significantly better to me than Bongo.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
I mean, you said to you, so what?
Oh, what do I like more?
Yeah.
Well, WAP was, I think, more original. This sounds like some kind of reggaeton type of song, and I'm also not a fan of reggaeton, so could be that. Excuse me. I think the record is cool. I don't think it's for me. I don't think WAP was for me either. But if I had to choose, I'd much rather listen to WAP.
Okay.
I'd rather hear about the thingy in the back of your throat than whatever this is.
Yeah. Interesting.
Also, speaking about Meg specifically, when Meg came on WAP, she sounded like, I'm about to let these niggas know. On this, she sounds very comfortable. Like, I don't really have anything to prove. And to be clear, I don't think either of them have anything to prove. I'm only comparing apples to apples. I'm saying when Meg came on WAP, her energy was strong. It was like, oh, I came to kick the door in. When Meg comes on in this record, it's just like, okay, yeah, I know what time it is. And I'm not saying the verse sucks or anything. I'm just saying the energy is different. That's all I'm saying. Because I know we're going to clip this up and put it out and all of that. And I know what the comments can say. So I just wanted to be clear that I'm speaking about the energy, not the lyrics, not the flow. Simply the presence, the cadence. Sometimes when an artist comes on in a verse, it's like they just ran in the room. It's like, oh shit, what the hell was that?
Right.
Like the Tasmanian devil just came in, you know, like that. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just like, oh, I got paid to do a verse, and I did a verse, and my verse is good.
I didn't know you did Tasmanian devil impressions.
No comment. Tune into the Sexual Intellectual Podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I did not know that.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, listen, what did surprise me was that this is, and maybe I'm wrong, it seems like this is Cardi's first single. To me, that's a bit surprising. I didn't expect her first single to be her and Meg doing this club, mainstream, whatever this is. I'm not really sure how to categorize this record. It's cool. I don't think it sucks. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. I think it's somewhere in the middle. Wherever in the middle you place it is up to you. But do I think the song is trash? No, not at all. It has great production. It's got a bounce. They both killed it with the flow. And for me, it's hard to judge women lyrically. I think there's different type of MCs, rappers, artists. I don't really look to either one of them for the most lyrical thing. And that's fine. There's plenty of male rappers I feel like that too about. I feel like for men, we're harsher critics about lyrics than with women. But that's a whole nother topic. And so I think they both came and did what they were supposed to do. And so wherever you put it is cool. I think it's a cool song. I'm more curious of what's next if this is Cardi's first single. Okay. Because to me, this doesn't really scream Cardi and Cardi's brand. So maybe they're going a different direction this album. Maybe this album will be a party album and that's why this is the first single. I have no information. So I'm curious. That's what it made me.
I think the song is fun.
Yes.
I think it's fun. I love the video. I thought the video was cool. You know, it's colorful, it's bright, you know, there's dancing, there's it reminds me of, you know, videos of the past.
It's a big budget video.
Right. Which we don't see as many of anymore, and that's fine. But I think it's always cool to kind of see it jumps. It's something that jumps out at you.
Yes. Because
it's so bright and, you know. I agree with you that WAP is just a better song overall. I agree with that. But I also agree with the fact that they did what they came to do. And I think they accomplished what they set out to do. I'm sure it has plenty of quotables that they'll, you know, the girls will put in their Instagram captions. I'm sure it's going to be blasting in cars for the rest of the summer. And
for the 2 weeks left?
Yes. And for... we say that, but that made me think that, you know, there are places where I'm sure people still blast things in their car past summertime. It's just that when you're in the New York area, you know, that's a summertime thing, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I think they achieved the fun factor.
I agree.
And I appreciate the fun factor. I can't even say it's necessarily for me. But I think it's fun. I think if you went to the club and it came on, and I think people probably are already having a good time with it since it's been released. I would imagine so. The only time I go to the club is when I'm on vacation, and so I don't know if I'll ever hear that in a club. I don't frequent clubs, but it's fun, and I think it would have been great if it came out 2 months ago.
Yes.
Because it does sound like a song that should be released at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
And it sounds like something that, yeah, you want to blast in your car or you want to hear while you're out and about, you know, while you're doing summertime things. It has that feel. It has that and
the video is on a beach.
Yeah, I was just about to say it has that, you know, we're kicking it on a beach type feel, and we got the music blasting, and Yeah, it definitely does that. And good for them. That was kind of my takeaway with it. It's like, oh, okay, this is cool. You know, it's nice to see them working together again. I think the two of them can have fun with the music, because WAP was fun too. So I feel like, yeah, you know, y'all make y'all fun records. I am with you though. I do want to see what this means. I'm curious. I think it would be really interesting if Cardi released a party album. I think it would be really fun. I know I keep saying the word fun, but I think it would be. I think she could do it. I actually think she could do it very seamlessly. Because of these types of records that we've heard her on.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. Probably not the case, but it would be cool if she did that. Although, I'm saying probably not the case, but a lot of these very, very huge artists have been doing things like that in the last couple of years. So, wouldn't be surprising if she did something like that.
Go ahead.
No, you have a thought that's like...
I don't think her camp would allow that. This is only Cardi's second album.
That's true.
So I don't think completely switching to a full party album would be a good look. It would confuse consumers. I'm not saying that Cardi is not versatile. We know Cardi can make different types of music, and this is further evidence of that.
Right.
But I think once you go into a full Calvin Harris party album, or what's the other guy, David Guetta, is it? If Cardi does an album like that, I think that would confuse consumers, and her brand may not fall in line with that.
I see that.
Cardi has specific branding, like a lot of the big stars do. You know, when you hear of a big star, there's certain things that immediately come to mind. Brand identity dictates certain things, even if not for their moves, the way we visually and mentally see them.
Right.
Get a little water. And I think if Cardi did a full party album as her second album, it could change things for her drastically. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Right.
I just don't think her team, for lack of a better term, would encourage that.
Yeah.
Even if she did like a Drake type of thing where she incorporated different segments, like, you know, a Drake album has certain pop type of records. Yeah. It's gonna have the R&B type of records. It's gonna have the trap type records. That's kind of how his albums are composed, whether you like it or not. Right. I could see her doing maybe something like that, where there's a few pop type records or a few party type records, but I think for her to go all the way party this soon could be detrimental, and I don't think her team would encourage that. I do agree she's capable, right? Especially with the right features. Who knows where it could go? Fuck around and go diamond. But I just don't know. Is that the smart move? While Cardi is still a person who has yet to release her second album. Right. That sophomore album is said to be one of the most challenging. I don't know if going a completely different route than the first album is wise. Yeah. A lot of times when you do stuff like that, you lose a big chunk of your following. Because now you're asking everyone to convert to this other thing. Yeah, yeah. And who knows, maybe there's data that shows, a lot of decisions today are data driven in business. And this is business, even though it's music. Maybe there's data that shows that, like a Drake, that pop side or that party side for her would be more beneficial and more lucrative than the other things. Whatever it was she'd be letting go to do. I don't know her music well enough or her demographics and insight, that type of data well enough to know what the trade-off is. But maybe, that's the only way I could see it happening. If they had data that shows, hey, if we go all the way left, we're going to gain exponentially more than what we currently have.
Yeah.
Because Cardi's too big of a star today for them to just completely do a 180 and just change so many things.
Right, that's true. Yeah, I think Cardi is, like you said, I think she's capable, but I do think you're right. I think what would be more likely is the sort of Drake formula where they give a little bit of everything as opposed to her doing one specific thing. I do agree with that,
and I think that's better. I think
her a more well-rounded artist.
Yeah, I think the best artists are well-rounded. They don't just give you one thing. They give you a few different things, a few different sounds. Well, that too. I'm just speaking from the consumer side, but yeah, that too. Because it allows you to say, oh yeah, like I remember Neo did an interview recently. I mean, Neo's done a ton of interviews in the last year or two, but at one point Neo was talking about how he has to curate his albums today. Because he was asked like, yeah, but what happened to doing like the traditional R&B album, like your early stuff? And he was like, but today it doesn't work like that for me. Today I have 3 different audiences. And when I make an album, I want to make sure I'm feeding all 3 groups of fans. And I thought that was really interesting. And he said, I've got the R&B fans, but I also have pop fans. And I also have, what was the other one he said? Pop, R&B, dance? I can't remember the third one. But whatever it was, he was saying he keeps that in mind when curating his album. He wants to make sure he's completely feeding all sides. He wants to make sure he is satisfying his fan base in full. And they were like, oh, so you purposely do certain things? He's like, no, but it may make the difference between what makes the album and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And so but that's smart because Neo is a balanced artist and he's great at what he does. And so, yeah, I think that might be the smarter route. But, we'll see. I'm very curious to see what happens next for Cardi.